Hello, one and all, and welcome to the latest episode of Reliving the Extreme. We're back, and we're back in our new format. The Brothers Maxon here with you. I'm Nate. That's Aaron.
Hello.
And with Reliving the Extreme, we are, as I explained on I had a little update episode a couple of weeks ago, and then on the last episode of We Can't Wrestle podcast, kind of explained it a little bit too. We're going to a monthly format here on Reliving the Extreme. Every month we'll have 3 We Can't Wrestles, and then 1 Reliving the Extreme, where we'll cover the month of that month in ECW. I think it's going to be a little, it'll take some adjusting, but I think it's going to be a little better because then we don't have to, some weeks behind the scenes, folks, those of you that aren't podcasters or whatever, some weeks it's tough to get an hour. You go way too in depth into like an Axelrod and Devon Dudley match or something. You know what I mean? To get that hour out of it. I think maybe this might wind up being more of a 90-minute format just because we're covering an entire month, and some months might have a pay-per-view or what have you. But I do think it's going to be better. I really do.
All right. Hopefully it is. We'll find out.
And we're going to start with the month of June, 1997. And like Aaron and I discussed, for some reason, Wrestlepalooza 97 is not on Peacock. I don't know why. But
I don't know why either.
But we do get quite a bit of Wrestlepalooza on the TV. So,
yeah. I wish I would have known it wasn't on the Peacock before we did it, because I could have dusted off my VHS and hooked it up, because I still have the VHS cassette of Wrestlepalooza 97. I watched that fucking thing so much. It's such a good fucking show, and that's why I think it's crazy that it's not on there, but it's all right.
Funny. It's funny that you say VHS, because it's so weird that you mentioned it, because when we moved 5 years ago to our new house, and my VCR, I swear to God, I had put it in one of the totes or something that wound up down in the basement. Cause I have in my office, I have a PS4 for DVDs or whatever. And the other day I wanted to watch one of my VHSs. So I'm like, I need to go down to the basement and get the VCR out that I haven't dusted off in 5 years. Can't find the fucking thing. So I might have to get on eBay or something and buy a VCR for the first time in 25 years or whatever. But
yeah, I got a DVD VHS combo that sits on like the bottom shelf of. It's got a bunch of wrestling figures on top of it, or on the other ones, but never. Oh, good. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I know you're like me. I have never gotten rid of any of my VHS tapes. I've never gotten rid of any of my DVDs. I don't care if everything went digital or not. I have all of my physical shit still, because
one day this shit's gonna crash. This shit's gonna crash.
This shit's gonna crash, or WWE is in the process of pricing me out of wanting to consume all of their content. When they're going to be on 15 different platforms, and I got to pay $20-$30 a month to each, they can go fuck themselves. I'm not doing it.
If wherever they keep their old school library, I'll go to. But
I'm even thinking about not getting that ESPN thing, and just because I watch SmackDown and shit on a pirated thing anyway. Granted, I can't watch it live. I have to watch it after the fact, but I don't really care. I don't care. I might just start watching their pay-per-views on the pirated thing and just not watch them live. I'm not as invested as a fan as I used to be anymore anyway. So I don't know. I might not even fall for the ESPN deal. I don't know.
I got that Hulu. Well, I share that Hulu bundle with Dad, but so I can watch the pay-per-views that way. But I'm worried about the library going somewhere. I don't think we have till 2026 to worry about that.
From what I heard, it's March 2026 is when that contract's up with Peacock.
Yeah, so we got a little bit to go with that.
And then I guess after that, if it goes away, we'll have to figure out a way to watch these ECW shows. But until then,
we got it right now.
Yes. All right. Well, here we go. ECW June 1997, and we start the month off with the ECW Hardcore TV from June the 3rd, 1997. There's always some conjecture there because when I go to other websites, it says that it's June the 7th, but Peacock has it June the 3rd, 1997.
We'll go with the CAC.
Go with the CAC. And this show starts off with, and I'm wondering, like, I don't know if Stevie Richards legit got injured or if because he's going to WCW with Raven. So I don't know if he legit got injured here or if he's just gone to WCW at this point.
I think he was legitimately injured, but he was still leaving.
Yes. Yeah, he's absolutely. Him and Raven are both history after this month. And then they're going to, much like WCW did, they're going to sit out in the crowd for far too many weeks. Like WCW would drag shit out, man. Like, this is cool. This is cool. All right, it's been 6 weeks. This is getting old. Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about WCW here, though. But Stevie Richards was supposed to have a match coming up with Terry Funk for the ECW Championship, but he's been pulled from the match, and Chris Candido is going to replace Stevie Richards.
Yes. And then they play an extended video of the interaction. This is why I think he actually was injured, and they thought maybe they would have got something out of it because they played like a extended video of the interaction between Terry Funk and Stevie Richards. I don't know. It's you have more access to like dirt sheets and shit on whether or not he actually was. But with how they were still putting Stevie over, I think when the show was made, they thought maybe they were still going to keep him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can see that too. You're right. The video does put him over. It doesn't like they don't bury, and ECW didn't really bury people on their way out anyway. But they're not downplaying him. You know, they're still putting him over as a feasible challenger to Funk's title.
Yeah, so I think maybe they thought Stevie might have still been sticking around when this show is made. But to me, like, I know he got to WWE. Like, his WCW career was lame. Like, he didn't do much in WCW.
Right.
And I didn't mind him in WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it. Like, a lot of people shit on the right to censor, but I thought that was a fun gimmick. And I liked him in Victoria. I thought they had a cool act together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like where he was more like the valet than the. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's using the strap on him.
Yeah, she's more of a man than he is, or whatever. But Stevie Richards, if homeless Chad would have been on here, we could have asked him too. But Stevie Richards, over, under, or rightly rated?
I would say rightly rated, in my opinion.
Okay.
And you're more of a fan of Richards than I am. I don't mind him. I don't dislike him or anything, but I think he's rightly rated. Honestly, let's just say it. I think he was a fine bit player during the Monday Night War era, you know. And there were a lot of those. There were a lot of those in the Monday Night War era. People that because in the Monday Night War era, things were booked so much differently. Everybody had something going on, no matter how minor they were. And some of them are forgotten to time and some of them aren't, you know?
Yeah. So, all right.
But yeah, during this video, let me see what my notes here. They show footage from Funk versus a match between Funk and Richards. Raven DDT's Terry Funk. Dreamer comes out and DDT's Raven. Louis Spicoli comes out and get involved. Stevie pins Terry Funk, so it must have been a non-title match or a tag match or something that they were showing the footage from. Later on, in the video, they show footage of Terry Funk attacking Louis Spicoli and the Dudleys, and then Stevie comes out. Him and Funk get into a fight. And then from that video, we go into a Chris Candido promo.
Yeah, because the video, the I did cut. Well, I didn't. Sorry. What it does is basically it shows the Terry Funk, Stevie Richards story, but then it switches over, like you said, to a Candido promo, and we're basically pushing Stevie away and saying, okay, Candido's coming in here now, and he has no sympathy for Stevie Richards and his injury, because he said he deserves the title shot anyway, because he built ECW. There wouldn't be an ECW without him. He was on the first show of ECW, and he got shit on at the pay-per-view because he wasn't even on the shirt. Like, he's basically doing the same kind of promo he did at Barely Legal. And then he shits on Terry Funk and calls him a broken down, crippled piece of shit.
And he also, to poke at Terry Funk and call him old, he says, Terry Funk beat my grandpa.
Yeah. Papa Doyle or whatever his name was.
Pop Doyle, or yeah. And just to put some icing on the cake of calling Funk an old piece of shit, he says he beat my grandpa, and I'm offended by that. And
yeah, when I was a kid, it upset me because he beat my grandpa. Yeah,
which Funk is older than Candido, but not that much older than Candido. He's probably old enough to be Candido's dad, not his grandpa. But anyway. That's the beauty of a little shit heel like Candido. He can get away with saying things like that.
I said Papa Doyle. That was Gene Hackman and the French Connection.
It's still funny. And they discuss that, and I don't know. I know why they sped up the Dreamer Raven thing, because they say that they've put Dreamer Raven on Wrestlepalooza, even though it was supposed to be at Hardcore Heaven. They've pushed it forward, and then they said that Sabu and Taz was supposed to be at Hardcore Heaven as well, but they pushed that forward to Wrestlepalooza as well. I don't know if that's because Raven was leaving and they just wanted to get the shit started with Taz and Douglas, or what, why they did that, but shuffled some matches around. And then they talk about the stuff going on with RVD over on Monday Night Raw. And I think it was funny that because they're talking about Raw and they're talking about Jerry Lawler and him shit talking ECW and everything. And I thought it was funny that Rick Rude called Jerry Lawler a butt wipe.
Yeah, butt wipe.
Butt wipe Jerry Lawler.
Popeye Richards. Popeye Richards.
Chuck
Richards. That was, yeah, sorry. But yeah, they had to, I don't know, like you said, I know they had to push up the Raven Tommy thing because Raven was leaving, but I don't know why they did Taz Sabu. I don't know if Sabu had some Japanese stuff going on or whatever, but I didn't mean to backtrack on you.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Before we go into the next matchup on the show, we have a promo from Taz about Sabu, about about the match coming up at Wrestlepalooza, and the point at the point at Barely Legal of their match was to prove who's the better man. He says the point of this match is just because I want to beat up Sabu, pretty much. And
yeah,
this is I wrote down in my notes here, not that he hasn't been for over a year doing the Taz gimmick. This point in time right now is when he's figured it out, if that makes sense. Yeah. Taz has figured out what he wants Taz to be.
Yeah, and like he said in that I didn't verbatim write down the promo or whatever, but he talked about wanting to get in with Sabu and find out who the better man was. But he now knows that he is the better man,
Mm-hmm.
and he's talking about wanting to choke him out, but he's almost even saying like he promises to choke out Fonzie, and like he's not worried about trying to prove whether or not even though he lost, he's still because Taz lost, right? No, Taz choked Sabu out at the pay per view, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Like even though he won, he's I don't want you could edit this out. I
He's
don't want to say it.
essentially he's saying, I proved that I'm the better man. And this match is more about just putting an end to this shit. Just like
Yeah.
I'm tired of your bullshit. I'm tired of Fonzie's bullshit. I'm tired of RBD's bullshit. I'm putting an end to this shit at Wrestlepalooza. Is essentially the gist of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's an effective promo, and like I said, Taz is definitely finding his footing as the Taz character and what he wants that character to be. Up next, it is a 6-man tag team match: Taz and the Eliminators versus Devon Dudley, Sabu, and Rob Van Dam. And my first note on this match was that fucking German suplex that Taz gave to Big Dick Dudley. I was like, God damn. Between the two of them, that looked fucking awesome.
Well, yeah, it's a 5 foot. I didn't say 5 foot. A 5'8" guy giving a 6'5" guy a fucking suplex. It's insane.
And it didn't look like Big Dick had to push off very much on that. Taz was a strong little fucking fire hydrant in his time.
Yeah. He certainly was. And I know I've kind of said, like, I don't want to say shit on him or whatever, but I like him more as like a personality than a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Taz himself, like, he's a badass little fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can't do what he did and not be a badass. But I think he got, I don't want to say, like, when he got to WWF, I think he just kind of got lumped into a bunch of guys that like he didn't stand out as much as he did when he got there, as much as he should have, if that
Right.
makes sense.
No, that makes sense. And it was a combination of, and I'm not saying he's a subpar talent, but it's a combination of being in, and you know what? I'll just say it. D. Malenko suffered the same fate in WWF. It's
Yeah,
it's a combination of being in the land of giants and not being someone that Vince and his upper echelon guys look at. Like Benoit and Eddie managed to exceed that. You know what I mean? They managed to go. They managed to be the kind of talent that Vince looked at and said, "Okay, I can ignore the size thing." Whereas on obviously with Taz and Malenko, it just didn't work out. They're great fucking talent, but in the land of giants,
I think it's just the it factor of it, and Benoit maybe didn't have, like, when I say this, it's gonna be obvious. Like Benoit didn't have the gift of gab that Taz had, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he was ripped,
and he was a generational talent.
Yeah,
he was,
and Eddie wasn't tall or whatever, but he was still ripped. But he had the gift of gab,
mm-hmm.
you know. Taz was kind of short, pudgy, and well, when I say pudgy, I mean not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was whatever. Like when you brought up Malenko, I was just gonna say, like, if Taz would have left ECW and went to WCW in like 1997, 98, probably would have been a different story for him.
Yeah, he'd have been in the mix with those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any specific notes of spots or anything during this 6-man. I put down it was a fun 6-man tag match. They give us some tease of Taz and Sabu, and obviously discussing them coming up at Wrestlepalooza. I don't have a lot of other notes of specific spots.
The only thing I had was that, well, two things. One, I thought it was funny that Joel Gertner was eating KFC at ringside. That was funny. And in this match, Sabu was actually on fucking fire, man. Like, not on actual fire, but like it was Sabu was hitting all his shit in this match. Like, there wasn't a lot of those things where he had to like reset up the chair and do his thing. Like, Sabu was on point. And the finish was a total elimination on Devon Dudley with the 1-2-3. And when that was happening, RVD he could have stopped the count, but he didn't, just because he was just like, whatever. I don't care about that guy.
So then after the match, Devon, you knew from the beginning of this match if there was going to be a finish, it was going to be Devon taking the pin, and he did. They show us an ad for Hardcore Heaven coming up the next pay-per-view. And then there's a long video, which needed to be there. It was a long video chronicling the almost or over 2-year feud we've had between Raven and Tommy Dreamer, which we've discussed before on the show. So much other stuff. That feud was the heart of ECW for 2 years. So much other stuff built off of it. And we poke fun a lot on this show. I have Aaron has, put upon Tommy. I call him community theater Tommy Dreamer and everything, but give credit where it's due. It's one of the great rivalries in wrestling history. Raven and Dreamer.
It is. It's the Austin McMahon of ECW.
It's the Dundee Lawler of ECW. You know?
It's the I was trying to think of something else that was silly. But it's the everything spawned off of that,
It's the Jeff Farmer Motley Cruz of ECW.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we get a community theater Tommy Dreamer promo. They're both hyping up him and Raven, both talking about how this is the end. This is it. Their feud comes to an end at Wrestlepalooza. He says he'll be man enough to take out Raven. And then Raven cuts a promo about, Dreamer, you couldn't beat me in Philly, Florida, Japan, or New York. And you're not going to beat me at Wrestlepalooza, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And that's how that episode of the show ends. And I gave that episode of the show a fair grade because it did everything it needed to do to hype up Wrestlepalooza. It featured people from both main events. It gave us a nice video from Raven and Dreamer, and to whet our appetite for that feud finally coming to an end.
Yep. And it rolls into like you talked about Barely Legal being like kind of like the
where ECW peaks for me.
Yeah.
That's just for me personally. I'm not saying everybody else has their own opinions. I'm not saying that's where it peaks. I'm just saying that's where it peaks for me.
Oh, I know, but like this show is my favorite ECW show.
Okay.
It's like my number one, and there's a couple that we're going to talk about later on that are close to it, but this to me is like the I don't know how old I was in 97. I don't know. I was like probably like six, I don't know, 14, 15.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, but like this was like the fucking show. Like me and my buddies were like, "Oh, you gotta watch Wrestlepalooza '97. It's fucking awesome." You know?
And it is, and it's a pivotal show for the promotion, and we're going to get into, obviously, on this next episode of the TV show, we're going to get into quite a bit of it. Some memorable things, from the show. Um, so let's dig into that. It's June 10th, 1997, episode of ECW TV.
Oh well, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
We're going to talk about the show. Let me see here. All right. I was just going to run down the card because the entire card isn't on the show.
Right.
All right. So the actual Wrestlepalooza '97, if that's all right, if I can run down the match card and who won, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Wrestlepalooza '97 actually happened on 6/6/1997. The opening contest was a TV title match. Shane Douglas, champion, versus Chris Chetty. Douglas defeated Chetty. The Pit Bulls went over the FBI. And then we had a number one contenders tag team title match, or a number one contenders for the tag titles. The Dudleys defeated Sandman and Balls Mahoney. And then we had the world title match, Terry Funk versus Chris Candido. Terry Funk defeated Chris Candido. Then loser leaves, Dreamer versus Raven. Dreamer defeated Raven. Sabu defeated Taz. And that rolled into Taz challenging Shane Douglas to come down and fight him in a match that we're going to discuss later on. And Taz defeats Shane Douglas for the TV title, and the tag team title match ended the show with the Eliminators defeating the Dudley Boys. Highlights of the show, which we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes, is this was obviously Raven's last match in ECW until 1999 when he comes back. And during the, or not during, but after the Dreamer Raven match, we get the debut of Jerry Lawler. So that's what happened at Wrestlepalooza, and Lawler debuting and running crazy over ECW is one of the greatest things in the history of professional wrestling, in my opinion.
We're gonna dig in. Yeah, we're gonna dig into it here.
Yeah. So sorry, I didn't want to.
No, that's okay. That's all right. But no, it's good that you brought the results of the show up because it's taken place by the time this show airs.
Yeah.
But Joey opens the show. Welcome to Wrestlepalooza at the ECW arena. Obviously, the crowd goes banana.
Yeah.
Lance
I'm just trying to figure out the new concept or the new, however you want to go with the show. So.
Well, and that's kind of what I want to do. We do everything chronologically, and we're chronicling the history of the ECW. So yeah, if a big show happens in between TV shows, even if the footage is on it, we should go through the results just like you did, and then we can dig. Right. We'll dig deeper into the results as it airs on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Lance Wright comes on, tells us that Perry Saturn's leg is essentially destroyed. He's got like it's like Perry Saturn has every injury in the leg you can have. Like he's got like his it's broken, and there's an ACL thing, and there's an MCL thing, and his leg is just fucked.
Yes.
So then we go to Joel Gertner and the Dudleys cutting a promo on the Eliminators. And I thought this was good. And I also put down here, much like I put down about Taz on the last show, this is also, you can pinpoint this time frame as when Bubba figures out what Bubba is too.
Yeah.
He is totally gotten rid of the any of the hokey dokey bullshit, the okey bokey dokey bullshit. He is talking in his real voice with his real accent, sounding like a badass and sounding like an asshole.
And being fantastic. Like, I know he's not like, I don't want to say like everybody's favorite person, and I know he can be kind of in real life, kind of a blowhard or whatever, but he's a fucking amazing talent in my opinion.
I am currently watching. I am in. Let me see here. Pretty much September of 2012 in my watching of the entire essentially history of TNA, right?
Yeah.
And in the Hogan Bischoff era of TNA, he's the best thing. I mean, there's great shit. There's AJ Styles. There's Samoa Joe. There's the match. Some of the matches are fantastic and everything. But Bubba's the best thing about that era of TNA.
And I don't know if you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. But do you know what? And it's not even somebody that's like era before him. I'd almost compare him to somebody that's right along with him, and he's like the JBL of like TNA.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. He's
where he might not be the best worker on your card, but he's the best fucking heel that you have.
Right.
In my opinion.
And he may be an asshole, but he's a hell of a performer.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's a fucking prick, and he doesn't give a shit. He's gonna say what he wants to fucking say, and he's gonna say it how he wants to say it. And I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does. It does.
Like you said, right here, he's figuring it out right here.
Mm-hmm. So now we roll into it. It is the final battle between Raven and Tommy Dreamer, Wrestlepalooza, 1997 ECW Arena. And this is, Shane Douglas is sitting up at the Eagle's Nest area during this match, which is going to set up some shit for later. But this match is Tommy and Raven doing all the greatest hits.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what this match needed to be. They start out doing the walk and brawl. There's weapons, there's walking, there's blood. They're out in the crowd. They're cracking each other with shit. They're both bleeding within like 5 minutes, And
this is where I wanted to say, it's like, oh, I didn't know what you wanted to do, what you wanted the format of the show to be. But I did have, like, I didn't put like a lot of notes on the end of the Wrestlepalooza thing, but I did have a lot of notes on this. But
no, it's fine. I have, this is the episode of the show for the month that I also have the most notes on. I don't want to skim over anything as we go through this. Just because there's gonna, like I said, there's gonna be stuff like a match like this that's really important where a lot happens. Where I have fucking almost a whole page of notes on, and then there's another match later on that I have this match happened, and there's so no, whatever you got, it's fine.
Well, the first note that I had was, this is Tommy Dreamer's greatest match. hands down. And
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not as big of a fan of him as I am, but this is Tommy's. Like, give him his flowers, let him go. You know, this is his
Mm-hmm.
best match. And like you said, Shane Douglas is watching from the Eagle's Nest, which is they pointed out at the beginning, which is actually kind of poetic on it. And um, Tommy Dreamer blasts Raven with the "Do Not Enter" sign, and then pile drives him on it. And if you don't know what that means, a fan handed Tommy a sign, said Tommy used my sign, and it obviously wasn't a poster board; it was an actual stop sign or "Do Not Enter" sign. Um, then Beulah and Chastity they get into a cat fight. Um, then Louis Spicolli enters in to help Raven, and it obviously doesn't work, and he's taken out. And then um, a bunch of other shit happens, and then Tommy ends up picking up Raven and getting ready to hit him with a DDT after multiple DDTs from both guys, and it's the iconic um, image of Tommy Dreamer yelling "EC fucking W," and he DDTs Raven, pins him 1, 2, 3, and um, the lights go out.
Oh, hold on. Put a pin in that for just a
Oh,
second.
okay.
Most of what you had down for the match is what I had down for the match. Like most of what, honest to God, most of what you put down is like highlights of everything is what I wrote. But one thing that I did write down that you didn't have in your notes was that when fucking Raven launches Dreamer onto that chair and Dreamer just explodes that he just
Oh,
explodes that
yeah.
chair under his weight. I was like, Jesus Christ.
He's a big fat ass.
I don't care who you are. That shit fucking hurt.
No, I guarantee it hurt.
But anyway, I just wanted to make note of that. That was the one
Yeah.
spot or whatever during the match that I had written down that I didn't hear you mention. So.
Well, then the lights go out, and they come back on, and RVD's in there, and he attacks, and then Dreamer gets a little bit of offense on RVD, and then the lights go out again, and then Sabu's in there, and then I liked um, the fact that Raven got up, and then he just pushed those guys aside and left.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was kind of like the signaling of this is over now.
Yeah, these are the
You
new
know?
heels. These are the new heels. I'm out.
Yeah, and um, you can tell me if this is stupid, but it's almost like when DiBiase winning is 1 and Flair winning is 3,
Yeah.
and DiBiase got eliminated and he walked out, and Flair came out, and they kind of like walked past each other.
Yep. It's like you're the top heel now. You know,
Yeah,
I've been the
yeah,
top heel for a long fucking time.
yeah. Now it's you,
Mm-hmm.
and um, then obviously Tommy kind of gets a little bit of offense on those two, and then the lights go out
Well,
again.
there's even
Oh,
also honestly, I don't know if it's intended. I'm sure it wasn't, or maybe I don't know. It's Heyman. It might have been. There's also some beauty, I guess, or something beautiful about Tommy beating Raven and then the lights going out and coming back on, and now Tommy's new rivals are in the ring with him. You know what I mean? I know
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
that probably wasn't that wasn't the intention, but there's some poetry there of, lights out on the sacked, and now we come back up and we're into a new story and a new era. And
Oh, that's definitely what it was. That's what he's telling with this, and that's what I'm saying. Like with these lights going out and going off, and Raven fucking walking past him, this is all new shit for Tommy. and he gets a little bit of an advantage on RVD and Sabu, and then the lights go out, and they come back on again, and it's Jerry Lawler. And the ECW crowd loses their fucking minds. And they can't believe Lawler's there, and Lawler is just browbeaten and shit talking and being himself with the ECW crowd.
He fucking
And
loved doing this. You can't
oh,
tell me he didn't.
he absolutely did. And like, I know the story of it was that Jerry Lawler is WWF, and he's the most WWF thing in the world. You know, he's like the king, and he's a clown, and he laughs, and he's ah, ha, ha, and all that, you know. But Jerry Lawler was more ECW than the ECW people realize.
Oh fuck yeah! ECW is Memphis. Like ECW is Memphis with Paul Heyman's spin on it. But yeah, oh fuck yes, Lawler fucking yeah, absolutely. Like Lawler lends himself to ECW better than anyone would ever give him credit for.
Yeah, and like one of his lines is, "This building should be made out of toilet paper because it's full of shit." It's a fucking great line, and RVD and Sabu and Lawler, they end up beating down everybody. Heyman even runs out and gets beat up. The gangsters are taken out by RVD and Sabu. Just I think, what was it? Who else came out?
Sandman gets laid out too.
Sandman gets laid out. I think Axel came out.
When I watched this segment, I wrote down, shit, did Kevin Sullivan write this? Heel heat, brother.
Oh yeah, it's a great fucking segment, and everybody gets taken out. Louie's holding Beulah in the corner, and Lawler keeps calling her a whore and all that shit. It's fucking great. And then all of a sudden, after all these people are taken out, Taz's music hits, and I think this is really good because Taz's music hits, and RVD and Sabu kind of scurry away, and Lawler's like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, he doesn't say that, but he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And Fonzie kind of gives him the Iggy. He's like, "Nah, we gotta go, brother. We gotta go." And Taz shows up, and Lawler leaves off of the recommendation of Fonzie, and Taz basically runs them off without touching them, and that leads into Taz kind of calling out Shane for not defending ECW, and if you want to roll into it, you can roll into that.
Yes, overall, this is, like Aaron said, I've just I'll put my 2 cents in. This is a great, and again, when I say, folks, that I don't want people to take it too seriously when I say ECW peaked at Barely Legal. I keep saying it's not that there's not other great shit. I'm just saying, for me, the promotion, you know what I mean? It's just, anyway.
Yeah.
This is fucking fantastic. This is wrestling television at its best. This is more peak ECW. It's perfect. Everybody plays their part well. And again, whether this was Heyman orchestrating this or Heyman with Lawler and some other people, whoever orchestrated this, orchestrated it beautifully. And it's the perfect transition from this 2-year-long thing that we've had with Tommy Dreamer and Raven, just to establish the new bad guys in his life, to establish this new story. I know they've been establishing it on WWF TV. How are the seesaws in Memphis, Jerry? Shit like that. But now the WWF has come to ECW, and then it's also great, I think, as time goes on, and we'll discuss it as time goes on. But I also think that it's great where it becomes framed as it's not necessarily the WWF's even supporting Lawler in this endeavor. He's it's actually Lawler. It's actually Lawler's agenda. It's not the WWF's agenda.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic shit. 5 stars all the way. And like Aaron said, then you have the perfect transition from that into Taz talking shit to Douglas. And then we get the Taz versus Sabu match, which obviously not as good as the Barely Legal match. Still a very good match, though.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped a little bit, but
no, it's okay. But and I don't have I don't have a lot of notes on this either. I don't know. I guess I didn't see any jump cuts or anything. I don't know how much of this they cut out on the TV show. I don't know if it was longer because it was a bit short here for Taz versus Sabu. But yeah, I don't know if you have any specific notes on this one too. I have mostly this shit at the end of this match. So
they didn't cut too much out of it because it was kind of like a quick thing. Like Taz Sabu 2 wasn't sorry, it wasn't very long. I can actually
I actually probably can flip to my tab here real quick because let me see. 8 minutes, 12 seconds.
Yeah, so what they showed wasn't very long. And like I said, Taz kind of had a little bit of interaction. I said Shane. I meant to say Sabu. Like, he called Sabu out after he ran off Lawler and
no, but
RVD.
you didn't skip though. He did talk shit to Douglas before the Sabu match too.
Okay.
So yeah, because that's in my notes. My notes goes from the Dreamer thing to Taz in the ring, talks shit to Shane Douglas, then calls out Sabu. So
yeah, that's where Shane's like, I got nothing to do with this shit. Like, he doesn't want anything to do with the WWF stuff. And then, like you said, it's a Sabu Taz grudge rematch of the century. Sabu ends up pinning Taz 1, 2, 3, so they're evened up. And then post match, Taz ends up challenging Shane Douglas. And through their banter, it winds up being talked down to a 3-minute match for the ECW championship. And if I remember everything right, if Taz doesn't beat Shane Douglas in 3 minutes or less, he has to leave for like 6 months.
It's Shane Douglas versus Taz. Taz must beat Taz can beat Douglas within 3 minutes, he becomes the TV champion. Or if he cannot beat him in 3 minutes, Taz has to leave ECW for 45 days.
45 days. I thought it was like 6 months, but okay.
Stakes aren't as high as we thought.
I would have just been like, okay.
Taz like, I'm going to lose on purpose, brother. I want to go to Aruba.
Yeah, I'll just lay down, brother.
We'll go 3 minutes, 1 second, brother. It's fine.
Douglas is working over Taz's neck in the match because that's Shane's thing is the neck. Taz ends up trapping on the Taz mission, and at I don't know, 256, Shane taps, and Taz is your new ECW TV champion.
And the ECW TV title, always to me, it's like they made it look like the Winged Eagle Championship. But
yeah,
I'm a belt guy, so I always, like the ECW tag titles look like the Intercontinental title, and the TV title looks like the Winged Eagle title, and the ECW World Championship looks like an indie belt.
Yeah, but this is when the ECW TV title becomes super important.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it wasn't important before, but and I know RVD is going to make it much more later on, but this is when that ECW title starts to feel even more important than what it was. And I think this is like the coming out party for Taz. Like Taz
Yes.
was still over before this, but this is like, all right, this guy's the fucking man.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is Goldberg beating Hogan. This is Austin 316 says, "I just whipped your ass."
Well, and
You know, it's like
I don't, and I,
this is this company saying this is our fucking guy.
yeah, and I don't know if it's going to make sense what I say, because Shane Douglas is always his own thing in ECW. He's always just Shane Douglas, whether babyface or heel. He's Shane Douglas. He's kind of his own thing. But with this thing here, your biggest heel. Let's not be honest. Was the biggest heel, no matter how much Douglas was champion or anybody else was champion. Raven was the biggest heel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're moving RVD and Sabu essentially into the top heel positions. You're moving Taz into the top babyface position alongside Dreamer, because what they do, to me, it feels like for the rest of, at least until they have to push him back up again because people leave, they're kind of putting Sandman into almost like a Sting role, if that makes sense. Like Sandman's not the top babyface, but he's always there around, floating around the top,
Yeah.
because for a while he was the top babyface and then he was the top heel. But now he's kind of been moved aside, and Taz is taking that mantle, and there's Dreamer's always there because it's ECW.
Yeah.
But yes, this was a plus hour of television.
Yes, it was.
No doubt. One of the best episodes of hardcore TV that we've seen since we've started reviewing ECW from the beginning. This is one of the best episodes of the show ever.
Yeah. And like I said, it's because it shows you the highlights of what I feel is one of their top 3 shows they ever did.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pee real quick before we go on to the next show?
All right, so we move along here. June 17th, 1997 edition of ECW. This one won't take too long.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, there's some good promos on this episode, but they do a lot of recapping of what we saw in the previous episode of the show. But we open up with a Taz promo talking about he pretty much rags on everybody.
Yeah.
It's Douglas, it's Dreamer, it's I don't care who you are. I'm the TV champion now. I'm telling the truth. Like I said, this is very much Taz. You can see the confidence. You can see that he has found who he is and what he wants to be as a professional wrestler.
Yes.
I know. I just noticed it. I don't know. It just popped in these few episodes of TV. Some recapping of last week's show by Rick Rude and Joey Styles, who I did have to put a note down here, and I think I may have mentioned it. We may have talked about it on a previous episode. They're an underrated duo.
Oh, yeah, they're great together.
They do, and you can just tell. You can tell it's almost like Gorilla and Bobby, or a team like that. You can tell that they just enjoyed each other. Like you can tell Rick Rude likes Joey Styles, and Joey Styles likes Rick Rude.
Rick Rude didn't like. If Rick Rude had enjoyed working with Joey Styles, he could have just destroyed him.
Yeah.
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 So
I mean, there's so much. I love watching like Rude do some kind of one liner and Joey just having that shit eating grin on his face, like, oh,
yeah, Joey's
he said
marking out.
like
He's
Joey's,
marking out working with Rick Rude.
you can see on Joey's face, just like, oh, he made an innuendo about pussy. Like you just see
Yeah.
on his face. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Joey ain't faking it. He's enjoying that shit.
Tommy Dreamer cuts a promo on Jerry Lawler, and they show it's kind of like not a lot of footage, but kind of still footage of Dreamer showing up on Memphis TV the prior week.
If you watch the act, like this is really one of the like probably the most I'll say about the show, and it's not even about this show. When Tommy Dreamer invaded USWA, it was kind of the end of USWA because Tommy Dreamer invades it, and as he's attacking people and breaking up the studio, the people are chanting ECW.
Right. Yeah.
Like, all right.
I mean, the bloom had been off the rose for quite some time, but you're right. That's kind of the nail in the coffin for that version of Memphis wrestling. They show, ECW also shows up on Monday Night Raw. I think that might have been that might have actually been the Seesaws in Memphis thing. Anyway, I love that. I love the debate. I love the great debate because Jim Ross is like, Paul Heyman is here to let Jerry Lawler know why ECW is the best and why it should exist in professional wrestling. And Jerry Lawler's
wondering if ECW
here,
even does exist.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler's here contending whether ECW really even does exist.
Yeah. He looked a lot taller on the Lucky Charms box.
Lawler then cuts a promo saying, he says, I love his premise is that for everything Paulie does about ECW and trying to be counterculture and trying to be, anti WWF and everything. And the reality, Paulie, he wants to work for the WWF, which, let's be honest, that's true. I mean, look how quickly in 2001 he shuttered the doors and showed up at WrestleMania. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's like when you're a 97 kid or whatever, you don't know everything. But older eyes or even watching it, whatever, it's like Lawler was so much better than everybody else. It was there. But anyway.
He calls the ECW fans a bunch of homeless perverts.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
and then he calls Sandman a dope addict. But yeah, I love
that's what I'm saying. And he's right about everything.
They're homeless perverts.
They're perverts, and Sabu or Sandman is a dope addict. He's right.
Oh, shit.
Go ahead.
And then we get a recap of all the Taz, Sabu, Shane Douglas stuff from last week. Taz cuts a promo, another promo. This time, I like this. I like Taz in this episode because he's just like unloading on everything. This when he goes into Lawler, and he's like, Jerry Lawler, your kid's wrestling in Memphis. I didn't even know you dated women who were old enough to have kids. He tells whoever's in charge of ECW, fuck RVD. If he doesn't want to be here in the interpromotional, let him go. Let him fucking go to the WWF. Who cares?
Yeah.
As Jerry's dad would say, this is the airing of the grievances. As Jerry Stiller would say, it's a Festivus for the rest of us.
For the rest of us.
But yeah, I do. I like he's just like the interpromotional stuff is stupid. Jerry Lawler's a fucking pedo. Let RVD fucking go. Who gives a shit? Jerry Lawler was at Epstein Island. I don't know.
We don't need the fucking WWF. Fuck it all.
Mm-hmm.
FTW, brother.
Then after that promo, which was awesome, Todd Gordon is in the ring forever in puberty. He's in the ring with the Dudleys. He's gone pretty. Like I am honest to God, I thought he was already gone. Todd Gordon. I don't know when I can't remember exactly. I have his book. I should go back and look. I can't remember exactly when the shit goes down, but it's very shortly after Barely Legal when he's like, "This is not a sustainable company."
Yeah, it's a couple more months. And he's gone.
Speaking of books, everybody, just really quick in the middle of the show while I'm thinking about it. The new Brian Solomon Gorilla Monsoon book, 5 stars. Go pick it up. But yeah, Todd Gordon's in the ring with the Dudley Boys, talking about Saturn needing surgery for the leg that we talked about last week is just utterly destroyed. He calls out the Eliminators to hand over the tag team championships. They say they want to lose the belts in a fight. They don't want to. And I thought that was like, what do I say? It's cool. The Saturn being still like active with his leg in that big ass cast is cool as shit. Like it makes him such a fucking badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he is a badass.
I know, but I'm just saying presentation wise, it's like Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking badass.
He's a psychopath. And he doesn't want to forfeit the belt. And Cronus is crazy, so he says he's going to defend the titles on his own, and it moves into Cronus defending the tag team titles against the Dudleys. The Dudleys end up trying to triple team Cronus, and it just kind of goes back and forth on that. If you have more notes, you can obviously say them.
No, I don't really. Saturn, like I said, Saturn getting involved in the match with the cast on is like I said, badass. And Cronus looks like, well, in the next episode, we'll get to the next episode. But Saturn looks like a badass psycho, and Cronus looks like a psycho badass through all of this.
Yeah, and Perry Saturn as a human being hitting the top rope elbow.
Yeah.
With the fucking walking cast or whatever you want to call it. Well, it's not even a walking cast because it's all the way up. It's fucking.
Yeah.
Him hitting that top rope elbow with that fucking shit on his leg is fucking insane.
It's an absolutely amazing visual.
And him just even being able to hop up there shows what a fucking athlete Perry Saturn was.
And the psychology is fantastic because, like Aaron's mentioning, the end of the match, Saturn goes up to the top rope in the full leg cast, drops an elbow on Devon Dudley and pins him. So even though they were supposed to forfeit the titles at the beginning of this whole thing, they are now still the ECW Tag Team Champions, the Eliminators. And then they bring you back down to, this is very real. Because, yeah, he won this match, but now this guy's going out on a stretcher because he, overexerted himself. Shouldn't have fucking done that in the first place. He's still the champion, but now he's getting stretchered out of the building.
Yeah, but it's fucking insane. That guy was an insane fucking athlete, man.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. I mean, I'm glad that he made it through whatever it is that he had to make it through, and he's still alive. But it's really sad how things wound up for him. But at this point in 1997, badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
Last
now,
interview I saw with him, he's at least indoors, so he's all right.
well, didn't he wind up getting shot or something? I mean, I guess I'm cloudy on what actually happened. I know that he had issues with drugs. I get that, but didn't he wind up getting shot in a robbery? Or I don't know what happened.
No, he got shot. Um, he tried to stop a rape and he got shot. Is
Okay.
essentially what happened to him.
Because I got okay, yeah. I thought stopping a robbery, but okay, yeah, but yeah, I knew that he got shot trying to do something good, and it's you always hate to fucking, you know what I mean? Like Jesus Christ, you
Yeah,
always hate to hear that shit. It's like when
that's why you.
fucking Mark Harmon dies on fucking West Wing. Like, God damn it,
Yeah, that's why you do no good. Is when
right?
something
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, the good, yeah.
Oh, not my problem.
That's in the West Wing though. That's like when Mark Harmon dies. I'm like, that's some fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah, yeah. Prime boy. I don't know. Prime boy. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's when I decided to
That's
kick
the
your
moment.
ass.
That's the moment I decided I was gonna kick your
Kick
ass.
your ass. It's the second best line in that entire fucking show.
All right,
Yeah,
so
second favorite line. But all right, go ahead.
we round out the month of June 1997. ECW TV from June 24th. The matches, the footage in the show are from Boston, Massachusetts. I don't know the arena. I just know if they said they were in Boston. Yeah,
Was it
according
the
to this,
garden?
it's not.
No,
It's not the
no,
Garden.
I know. I'm kidding.
But the opening match is this time Saturn. They're telling Saturn to be a little wiser. It's going to be Cronus defending. He wants to defend the ECW titles himself against the Dudley Boys. I love that when Joel Gertner goes to speak, Rick Rude says, "What does the pig have to say?" Fucking Rude with one line. He's like, "But all right, Joey, what does the pig have to say?"
I have to say. And Gertner tries to make his announcement, but Perry Saturn ends up cracking Big Dick with his crutch. And then all the officials pour in. Did you see who one of the officials was?
I guess not, because I don't have it written down.
This is the first official, or not first official, but the first appearance I saw of Danny Doring.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not notice Danny Doring.
Yeah, the officials are your regular officials, then Jeff Jones and Danny Doring. Then Joel Gertner ends up, after all the insanity dies down from the crutch shot, gives Todd Gordon a restraining order against Perry Saturn.
Which then, now that forces Cronus to literally defend the titles on his own, because Saturn can't be anywhere near Joel Gertner.
Yes.
This is like this whole Saturn Dudley's, well, Eliminators Dudley's thing with Saturn with the leg and everything. This is such a good, I don't know what you want to say, like a two episode story about the tag team titles,
Yeah. It's a good arc. And it's like, well, you say what you want to say about ECW and being counterculture and all this, that, and the other thing, but they're still doing the same like wrestling storytelling. Like, how many times did you watch a WCW or a WWF or Mid South thing or whatever? It's like, oh, restraining order and this and that and the other thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking it, but I'm just, you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wrestling's wrestling, and storytelling and wrestling is storytelling and wrestling.
Yep, it's its own animal.
Yeah.
Couple notes that I have here. Of course, the Dudleys do finally win the titles. You know, the odds are against Cronus, et cetera, et cetera. But a couple of notes that I had here just from my knowledge of things, I guess. This is I don't know if it's Saturn's last appearance in ECW, but it's definitely his last appearance in a ring in ECW that I know of. And I also know that he's about to enter into negotiations with WCW. Behind the scenes, he was frustrated with Cronus. I don't know exactly what the story is on the frustrations, but he was frustrated with Cronus and he didn't want to do the Eliminators anymore.
I think it was his substance shit.
And that's highly possible too. But this is kind of the end of the Eliminators. Saturn's pretty much done with it. And I mean, he was frustrated with Cronus for a long time. They just their success, you know, he couldn't, you know, like if you remember back in like when we were doing shows in 96, they were even teasing the Eliminators breaking up, and then they kept them together just because they were so successful and so over. But apparently at this point, it's kind of the final straw for Saturn.
I think if I could be wrong, and we could delve deeper into it too, but I think he also got lumped into the ECW mole thing that Fonzie was part of too. And I don't think Saturn was part of it, but I think he got possibly implicated into it, and he wasn't one of the guys that was doing that shit.
And
I think he was offended that he got.
And that could make sense too, because Todd Gordon, same deal, and he's about to be gone. And I know Perry Saturn is in WCW, and I think he debuts in WCW in September of '97, I believe. It's either late August or September. So, but yeah, this is pretty much the swan song for the Eliminators. It was a great run, and like we've discussed on the show, I would say you could say in 1996, probably the three best tag teams in North American wrestling were the Eliminators #1, Owen and Bulldog #2, and Harlem Heat #3.
Yeah.
So the next match is Douglas, Candido, and Bigelow, the triple threat, against the Pitbulls and Balls Mahoney in a 6-man tag team match. I'm always excited to see Bam Bam.
I'm usually excited to see. Well, shit, that sounds weird, but I don't dislike anybody in this match. Mm-hmm. I know we shit on Gary Wolf, but he has very little to do with the match, so it's okay. But I'm a bigger Shane Douglas fan than you are.
Right.
And obviously I love Chris Candido and Bam Bam Bigelow. I think Balls is underrated, and Gary or Anthony Durani's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking forward to this fucking match.
It's funny because Douglas is one of those guys that as history has gone on and time has gone on, I've gotten a I haven't necessarily ever become like a big fan, but I have softened on my stance on him over the back in the day. I always thought he was a decent wrestler, but he always kind of like annoyed me with the fact that he tried too hard with the promos to drop too many fucking F-bombs and talk about Ric Flair and fucking shit all the time. And it just kind of was annoying to me.
I'm talking about his in-ring work.
Oh, I know. And he was always a good wrestler. That was never my issue with him. And the promo thing, and it annoys me less now as I go through and historically, because I see what he was trying to do. And then I just want to throw it in there. And then I got to meet him and I got to talk to him with one of the conventions we went to. And like, he's up there with like Bill Eadie and Bob Backlund as like one of like the guys that like I wanted to meet him and I met him, but I didn't know he was going to be as fucking cool as he was. I fucking shot the breeze for like 30 minutes with Douglas and Francine. Like, he was generally interested in talking to me, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to give that shout out to Shane Douglas. He obviously he's probably not listening to this, but because I reached out to Shane Douglas one time on Facebook. Just funny story. Hey Shane, I do a podcast about ECW, and at some point, if you know, even if I had to give you some monetary, you know, whatever to come on the show, would you be willing to? And blah blah blah. And the message that came back was, "This is Shane Douglas's agent, and it's a $350 flat fee." Blah blah. And I was like, "All right, fine, never mind."
Nope.
But anyway,
nope.
I'm not paying you $350 to come on my podcast that I don't make any money doing. So, but yeah, this is a good 6-man tag team match, and like Aaron said, you know, Balls Mahoney's in there, which is always good. Every member of the Triple Threat, always good. The Pit Bulls, always good for what they are in ECW. Rick Rude comes out during the match and kisses Francine.
And he knocks her out and then does his dick dance.
And I still don't understand. Fun. I don't know. And tell me if you think tell me if you think I'm off base. I like Root as a commentator in ECW. Okay. What I don't understand is why they ever did the rivalry between Douglas and Root thing if it was never going to have an in-ring payoff. I just don't get it. I'm not shitting on it. I just don't get it.
I honestly think they thought there was a possibility that it was going to happen.
Okay.
I really do. Because Rude, because this is 90, it's a lot of years ahead. But I really do think they thought it was something was good. I think they thought they were going to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. Because at this point, and you might be right, because at this point there's the Lloyd's of London thing, which is always in the background. I don't know how he was physically as far as being able to maybe return to the ring, because I do know in 99 before he passed,
he was ready to come back. He was ready to come back to WWF.
Yeah, they wanted to
go back to WWF.
Do a program with Austin. So by 99 he's ready. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe at this point he's like, you know what, I'm ready. The Lloyd's of London thing was that was a hiccup for a lot of guys, because they got those policies in the 80s or the early 90s, and then they decided, maybe I'll take some time off and not work, and I'll let this insurance company pay me. And then they get to the point where they want to work again. And I'm like, well, but then I can't because it's fucking insurance fraud.
Yeah.
But so I think Kurt Hennig had one too. I know Road Warrior Animal did, I think. But anyway.
Yeah.
But this match, the triple threat goes over after Shane Douglas hits Gary Wolf with a pin. Once again, Shane Douglas and Gary Wolf. Douglas goes over. The never-ending saga of Shane Douglas and Gary Wolf. We get another Jerry Lawler promo here, talking about how he's going to be at the Bingo Hall in Philadelphia on Saturday night for ECW.
This one was on an actual WWF set.
Those are the best ones on another promotion because it highlights the difference between the, like, it's always fun when when they were doing the McMemphis stuff in USWA, and like whoever, whether it's Randy Savage and by the way, if nobody's ever watched them, you should go watch the Randy Savage promos for Memphis TV from '93, because it's Randy Savage in '93 being Randy Savage from fucking his dad's promotion. It's fucking crazy. It's like Randy Savage in the psychobilly cowboy getup, but he's doing the oh, confetti, I'll knock your head off, man, spit down your throat, man, yeah, I'm gonna kill you, like promos, but in like '93 Randy Savage garb. But anyway,
yeah, I don't want to kill the YouTube guys channel or whatever, if it's even still up there, but or just type in McMemphis on YouTube and watch the whole thing. It's fucking great. It's like a chronological. Have you ever seen that?
Actually, I can tell you. Oh, absolutely. Actually, you know what? Honestly, let me see here. Because I fucking blanked on the fucking name. You can actually go, if you want to watch if you want to watch everything USWA 90, like many years, including 93, if you go to the Retro Wrestling Archive on YouTube, that's where I watch Memphis. So, but anyway, but yeah, Vince cuts his Memphis promos in front of the W, like you said, the WWF like neon. I don't know. You can tell it's a WWF thing. I'm just saying. But yeah, he talks about how Sabu and RVD are the only athletes in ECW, and this, on Saturday they're going to face the drug addict, the dope addict Sandman, and fat idiot Tommy Dreamer. It would have been fun if he called him Tom Dreamer. And then he talks about how ECW is trying to use him to draw a crowd.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you build. I'm not gonna show up there so you can build a house. I already did that. Build your own house.
Build your own house.
Paulie, build your own house. Yeah, it's good shit, pal.
And then the last segment on the show, they show us footage of Rob Van Dam and Sabu attacking Tommy Dreamer in the arena, beating him up, and then Louis Spicolli comes out, takes advantage, and starts his I Quit match with Tommy Dreamer. And how long is it now before Louis goes to WCW? That's got me thinking.
Not very long.
There's a lot of people going to WCW right now.
Probably like 3 months, if that.
Poor man, fucking Louis Spicolli, the fucking Rick McGraw of his generation.
Yeah.
Good ass wrestler, fucking falls asleep in his fucking spaghetti, just what a shame.
He's the guy that I've heard multiple people talk about. If you get at this point of the WWF, if you're on Vince McMahon's radar for being a fucking problem,
yeah,
you're a fucking problem.
Yeah.
and Vince, I heard, I don't know if it was like Cornette's podcast or whatever, that he saw Louis in a car with somebody that was in the WWF and was like, "What the fuck is Louis Spicolli doing here? Who fucking hired him back?" Like Vince wasn't hiring people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And he saw Louis and was like, "What the fuck is that guy doing here? He better not be on my fucking payroll." If it's 1997, and like I said, if it's 97, 98, and Vince doesn't want you around and knows who you are, you're a fucking problem. And
Yep.
that's what Louis was.
Well, this match starts with Spicoli and Dreamer in an I Quit match. And
I'm
in
not
the
knocking Louis as a
I
person.
know,
I don't know
I
him as a
know,
person.
no, and addiction and the addiction doesn't make the person. We know, we know nowadays that addiction is a disease, and it's it's something that we should be helping people with and not degrading them for.
Okay.
But anyway, I've had friends that I thought were fantastic people, and they had addiction, and they passed away because of their addiction. Even though if I was with them, they're a fantastic person. The addiction
Yeah.
doesn't make the person. So yeah, again, like Aaron said, we're not judging Louis as a person, but as a professional, you don't want to show up to work fucked up, no matter what your profession is. Somehow Shawn Michaels got away with it, but that's another story for another podcast.
Yeah.
And you know what I always say, whether I'm not a religious person, but Sean made good and he's doing great now, and then good for him. I'm glad I'm glad he came
Yeah.
out of that shit on the good end, is what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Unfortunately, Louis didn't
no.
make that.
Well, the finish of this match, Tommy Dreamer essentially uses pliers on Louis' nuts for the win. That's what I said. Tommy
I
Dreamer.
I thought it was more the penis than the nut.
Maybe it was
Because
yeah.
because
Either way.
Joey said he was gonna rip it off, not
Whew,
rip them off.
whew,
So I'm like, oh,
yeesh.
it's just the penis.
Either way, I cringed. Maybe puked in my mouth a little.
It was the peen.
The pain.
Yeah. And that create the pliers on the penis made Louis say I quit, and that's how that show ended.
It was another decent episode.
And that rolled. Oh, did you want to end on that, or did you want to end on the last show of what was it, June?
That was the
Right?
last show of June that I had.
Okay. Well,
Because the date
we're gonna roll in.
the date on that show was June 24th, and the next one I think is like July 1st. So
Yeah. Well, there's one more super show.
Okay. I did not. Let's put that on the next episode then, because I don't have anything on it.
Okay. I was just gonna read you the results.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
It's basically the next shows we're gonna watch are the results of the orgy of violence.
Okay.
You hear Joey and Rude talking about the orgy of violence.
I did, but I guess because this was the last TV episode of the month, I didn't go any farther. But no, that's fine. You can go ahead and do the results for that.
Okay. All of this shit led into the orgy of violence, which was, I believe, June 28th. And on this show, opening match, Lance Storm defeated Tracy Smothers. PG-13 went over Spike and Mikey Whipwreck. And in this match, guess who returns?
Who?
Jason, the sexiest man alive. So Jason is back.
I was wondering when that pimple would arrive.
Well, he's arrived. Taz defeats Cronus. Chris Candido goes over Dr. Tom Pritchard. Bam Bam Bigelow over Pitbull 2. the Dudleys retain their tag team titles against the Gangstas. And then Balls Mahoney defeats Louis Spicolli. And then RVD and Sabu defeat Tommy Dreamer and Hack. And this is, Sandman. And this is, and we'll talk about it more when we get into it and see the footage of it. But this is the show where Jim Cornette shows up in ECW.
And I will be happy to talk about that and Cornette's story about that when we get there. So
yes. So
sorry, yeah, like I said, I
monopolize the end of the show, but that's how we ended. That's how we ended June.
You did better than I did because I didn't go farther than the TV shows. So you actually chronicled the month. And yes, like Aaron said, we're going to see footage from that show on the upcoming July episodes, which will be obviously at the end of November for our next episode. And I think that this, like I said, I think this monthly thing, I think this was good. I think this is going to be a good change for the show, a good change for the pacing. And I said we'd be about an hour and a half. There might be some months where it's 2 hours because we have a pay-per-view or something, but we'll make it work. And I actually like this better, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And if you are not already a member of the WNR Podcast Network on Facebook, do so. The WNR page on YouTube, WNR Podcast Network on YouTube. And right now, I have sent the ballots out. The voting is going for this year's edition of the We Can't Wrestle Podcast Hall of Fame. We will be, without a doubt, no matter what, inducting our brother Archie Mitchell into the Hall of Fame this year. And I'm starting to get ballots back in. I got a few of them back today already. I just sent them out today, got them back, and there's definitely some front runners that I think are definitely going to make it just based on the votes that I got today. Waiting on some others to come in. But it'll be fun to it's always my favorite thing. I know Aaron's favorite thing is the Hall of Shame. My favorite thing is the Hall of Fame. But yes, again, you can participate, have some fun with us on our Facebook page, the WNR Podcast Network. And did you have any parting words this week before we sign off?
Just thanks everybody for listening, and like, rate, review, and that's it.
All right. We'll see you in November for July of 1997 in ECW, right here on Living the Extreme. Until then, of course, check us out on the We Can't Wrestle podcast, and we'll see you, everybody. And actually, since the next episode will be at the end of November, just happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye, fuckers.